Yes. Previous day we have started with here like Azure SQL databases. Okay, Azure SQL databases. Okay, so check it like we can create the databases very easily, very fastly here. Azure SQL database. We'll see how we are creating the database. Okay, so yeah, so how we can access the database. Okay, yes. So it's very simple to create the database here in Azure. So check here, like I will go to the portal. Okay, just here if I go to home page, the portal, very simple steps are there. We can search here our SQL databases. See here, option is there. Okay, okay. Check here, like create a database. Yes. Just here we need to mention here the information like subscription by default it will take automatically. Then resource group is there. We can create a new group or we can use existing group. Basically, say like resource group is there here to group the resources. Means what? Tomorrow, if want to delete everything, just we have to delete this resource group. Okay, so what are the resources are there? Okay, so yeah, those are yeah created automatic. Those are destroyed automatically. Okay, so yeah, resource group is it. So database name is it. We can provide some database name. Check here, select the server it is asking. We can create new server, for example, optimize 11, any name just for identification, and it should be unique name. Okay, globally unique name. opt11 dot database dot windows dot net. Okay. Yeah. So check here like where do you want to create this data server? Means already Microsoft has installed SQL Server. Just we are creating the endpoint actually with this name to access our database. Okay, endpoint. So, okay. Yeah. So check here like we'll see this one. The Elastic Pool option is it, and we have seen here the pricing is there in PaaS here in Azure SQL database. Pricing is it depends on number of DTUs and the size of database. Basically, we have service tiers are there here. We'll see again. We have two types of service tiers are there here. vCore base yeah, model is there plus DTU based model is there. Okay, Azure SQL database. In general, remember like basically this Azure SQL database service is we have seen for startup applications. Okay, so yeah, that's why in most of the cases here in 80% scenarios we are going with the DTU based purchasing model where we have again basic, standard, and premium. We'll see again. We have seen in case of basic, we can have like 5 DTUs. DTUs are nothing but database transaction units per second. 5 DTUs are there, like means we can understand 5 transactions per second. 5 transactions per second. In basics, your database can grow up to 2 GB maximum. Okay, not more than 2 GB. Right, right. So check here, it can grow up to 2 GB, maximum database size, 5 DTUs per second. Its cost is here almost all $5 here per month. Let's say for startup applications or small websites, we can go with this here basic. We'll talk about actually all the three in detail in the next slides. Check here in case of standard S0 is here with 10 DTUs per second, 10 transactions per second. Max database size. Max database size here, it can grow up to 250 GB. Here, max database size, $15 here, USD per month. Okay, for example, okay, apply. Then backup storage redundancy it is asking. Choose how your PITR. PITR is what? Point in time restore. Okay, and LTR, say long term restore. For example, backups are replicated. Geo restore or ability to recover from regional outage is only available when geo redundant storage is selected. Okay, geo redundant means basically it is a storage option actually. Geo redundant means what? Like in different region. For example, right now we are placing our database in East US region. I think it is not Virginia actually. Uh, Same copy of our databases are maintained in what different region also. With means backup is maintained in different region. Even this region is collapse, something happen, very rare cases, exceptional cases. So we can have here these backups we can access from other regions. Okay, we'll see this one again in detail in backup restores. Some other options are there. LRS is there, locally redundant, zone redundant options are there. We'll talk about this. Okay, review, create. This here like empty database we are creating now. Empty database we are creating. Yeah, sales database here we are creating, as well as endpoint is also created, OPT11. OPT11 dot database dot windows dot net. Endpoint is also created. Yes. So once it is ready, we can access this database here from anywhere. Okay. So just we have to configure firewall. We have to configure means we have to add the IP in the firewall. Means from where we need to access this database. So that application or that server IP we have to configure, then we can access. For example, here this is our Azure SQL database is it? Okay, where we have seen it is our database level service, for example. So now remember, I want to allow access from these application servers. Okay, so this is our Azure SQL database service, SQL database, for example. Now I want to allow access here from CIPC, for example, from HSPC applications actually. I want to allow connectivity. So then what we'll do, like here see like we need to configure firewall. So we have two types of firewall options are there. We'll discuss again. One is say like a server level firewall is there. Okay, one option is there, and DB level firewall is there. Two options are there. So for example, let's see this server is running with which IP. This server's IP we have to add here in the server firewall rule or DB level firewall rule. In general, we are adding in the DB level firewall rules. Okay, so this server IP is added here in the DB level firewall rule. Now remember, these applications can access our databases. Here, first level of protection is their firewall. After that, authentication. After that, authorization. Okay, three steps. Okay, right. So generally say like our administrators machines IPs are added here in server level firewall rule. Server level means, again remember here, so we can access if the IP is added in server level firewall rule, then remember we can access all our databases. It's not meaning that server. Okay, our, for example, we have deployed 4 databases. All the 4 databases we can access, okay, through the endpoint. That is like 2 levels of firewall rules are there here. So database level firewall rules are there, server level firewall rules are there. We'll see that in detail. Let's say I think our database. Yeah, our database is ready. See, your deployment is completed. Go to resource. Now we are in the sales database overview blade. See here, overview it is showing here. This is our server name. Elastic pool is not configured. Our database is online. Location. Okay, these are the connection strings we have seen. Means what? We can provide these connection strings to our .NET team, Java. Okay, so any other developers here, we can provide the connection strings. Means what? By using this connection string, or .NET application can connect to our SQL database. Okay, yes. So yeah, the same way, like we have seen, these are the pricing tier we have selected. We can change later also at any time. Okay, so other properties are there here. Compute utilization means how many DTUs are used per second. It is showing here. Right now, nobody has connected to my database, right? So that's why no DTU usage is there. But currently, here database size is 16 MB was allocated. 4 MB is used this year. But it can grow up to what? 250 GB. Already we have seen. Okay, yes. So check here, these are the main database, some properties are there here. So TD is enabled by default, transparent data encryption. Okay, so we can enable here other features we can enable. We also know automatic tuning. We can configure like geo replication, which is similar to always on. We can configure this defender actually for more security. So auditing, DDM, dynamic data masking, all these features we can configure. We'll see that one by one. After that, here we have seen like we can connect through editor. We can open SSMS in our laptop. We can connect to this database. Directly here also here we can work with commands here by using this query editor directly. Okay, yeah, let's see, we'll see first. I will set the firewalls here, set server firewall. This is my IP. Actually, right now my system's IP. I'm saying add client IP means my system's IP is added here with some name. Okay, save. Suppose here in your machine, if you type this like this, what is my IP? Means it will display like this here. Okay, so that IP, if I add here, okay, then you can also connect to this database. You can also access this database. Check here, we have seen we can go to query editor. So yeah, we can work from here also here directly with SQL commands here. Query editor is open already. We have seen we can work with the commands here. Okay, vendor ID, vendor name, city. Okay, same thing. Select the command and run. Success. Vendor name. Some things here like select and execute. Okay, failed to execute query. Yeah, here see like varchar we have said directly means size I have not mentioned. Okay, yeah. See here, like this here, like we can start working with the commands here directly. Okay, yes. So we have seen that we can connect through SSMS also. Let's say we'll open SSMS in my laptop. Through SSMS also we can connect. Yeah, from your machines also you can connect. Means we have seen only condition is what the machine IP should be added here. Yes. Okay. Okay. Check here like server name. Go back to overview. Okay, I'm saying close this. This is our server names here. Copy this. Actually, server name means remember our endpoint actually through which we can access our own databases. Why? Because in these shared servers here, other uh, databases are also there. Other client databases are also there. Check here by default version is there V12. V12. It is 12.0 version, 2014 version V12. Okay, right. See, sales database is it. In that just now we have created one table, vendors table. Okay, yes, check here. Like this, like we can work with here. See, new query under system databases. Remember, we can see only master database. Okay, for security to implement security. Check here. Select at the rate version. Yeah, check here Microsoft SQL Azure 12.0 version it is saying. So almost all you can say it is like our 2014 version. Right. So check here we don't have any other options here. In general, we have seen in case of on-premises environment, we can see all the options here, security, server objects, everything. But here, this is database level service. Once again, we have to understand. So that's why we can't, yeah, we don't have all the other options. Why? Because it is DB level service. So that's why we have seen even there is no agent also here. That's why for automation, we are using separate services there in Azure. Azure automation services there. Azure automation services there. By using Azure automation service, we can automate. Right, right. We'll see that one by one. This see how we have created, how we have provisioned the database. Just we have seen like how we can connect by configuring firewall rules. Okay, check your number of DTUs has increased. Yeah, we have used actually just now while practicing. Yes. Okay. Yes. next here, like Azure SQL database architecture, important for us here. How internally, like what are the major architecture elements are there for SQL database service? First one is there, like client layer is it, that is common. Means what applications or users are connected. Whenever they are connecting, they are connected through what client layer or protocol layer, right? So as part of this layer, we have yeah, all the protocols are available here to connect to through different applications. Okay. Next one say like a service layer is it. Okay, second one, service layer. Service layer is basically yeah, provisioning the databases, building, metering, and connection routing. See, means what? Whenever we are saying create the database, whenever we are creating the database creation plus generating the billing. Why? Because depends on the usage or depends on the pricing tier or service tier, the billing should be generated, right? Yeah, generating the billing plus connection routing. Whenever someone is trying to connect to some database, so through the endpoint, we have seen connection routing is done by the service layers here. Service layer, first layer. Then we have platform layer is it. In platform layer, we have SQL Server engine is it, okay, which is processing the queries. Azure Fabric is it. Management services are there. So down we have infrastructure layer, that is nothing but our hardware or virtualization layer. One by one we'll see. Client layer already we know, which consists of what protocols. Client layer acts as an interface for applications to access SQL Server. TDS is used to transfer data between the SQL database and applications, right? Tabular data stream, which is our SQL native client. Okay. SQL Server also uses TDS to communicate with applications. Okay, that is common. Service layer is it. We have seen provisioning the databases, creating the database, user authentication, and database validations here. Okay, authentication is also done. Yes. So whether the user is valid or not, then in the same way, say like enforcing security, like firewall rules, verifying. Okay, whenever someone is trying to access, billing and metering for SQL database, right? So generating the bill. Yeah, these are the major activities are there here of service layer. Yes. Next here, platform layer is a consist of physical servers hosting SQL databases in data centers. SQL database is stored in one physical server and is replicated across two different physical servers here by default. Platform layer has again two components. Just now we have seen Azure Fabric is it. So Azure Fabric's here load balancing, automatic failover, automatic replication between two servers is done by Azure Fabric. Okay, so why? Because tomorrow one data center collapse or some data center outage is it, so it will make a start failover process. Then management services are there, individual server health monitoring and patch updates here. We have seen automatic batching is there actually here. So those are taken care of by management services. Right. These are see like two layers are there. Service layer is there, platform layer is there. Yeah, connecting from internet. So let's say whenever we are trying to connect here to SQL database. So first it is verifying the IP address of request should be within one of the range of what database level firewall rules. Okay. So if the IP address of request is not within the ranges of database level firewall rules, then it will check the server level firewall rules. If the IP is there either in DB level firewall rules or server level firewall rules, then remember connection success. Means then it will verify what credentials it will verify. Okay, so authentication is it. Next step is what? Authorization. Means permissions it will verify. Yes, check your client on premises. We are opening say SSMS or through application. So whenever we are submitting request to connect, SLB is a software load balancer. It is submitting request to Azure SQL DB gateway. This gateway is submitting request to say proxy middleware. Proxy middleware is what basically we have created OPT11, right? So yeah, so means it is our endpoint actually. So request is submitted to endpoint, then that endpoint will verify here firewall rules. It allows access to the respective databases. We see how the connectivity is happening here in the background. Okay, for Azure SQL database service. Right. Same thing is it. Clients within Azure or outside of Azure connect to SLB, which has public IP address and listens on port numbers here 1433. The SLB directs traffic to Azure SQL database gateway. Gateway will redirect to proxy. Proxy redirects traffic to the respective database to access. Just internally how the connectivity is happening, Microsoft is describing. Yes, let's see, we'll see differences between the Azure SQL database and SQL Server. Means like on-premises SQL Server or SQL Server which is running in VM, Azure VM, both are same. Okay, so so many differences are there. Already we have seen this Azure SQL database is DB level service, but SQL Server is what server level which has multiple databases. In the same way, we have seen like for automation in SQL Server, we have agent is it, but here there is no agent database level service. Like various differences are there. Check here first one, backup and restore. Backups are automatically scheduled here and start within a few minutes of database provisioning, right? So manually, no need to take backup here in Azure SQL database. Check here like if I say refresh overview, check here, just now the backup was generated here 3:10 UTC time. Okay, backup is generated just now. If I say here restore, we can select from which restore point you want to restore. If you want to take manual backups here, export option is it. We can export this database into some back file actually. So that is called manual backup. But here see automated backups are there. We'll talk about this in backup restore module in detail. Okay. Okay. Here see we have seen if you want to take manual backup, we have option is it export option. Next here like recovery model. By default, remember Azure SQL database is there always in full recovery model. Okay. Yeah, we can't change also it is saying. Why? Because master database is there here in read only. That's why we can't change the recovery model. By default, it is always in full recovery model. And once again, remember, by default, our Azure SQL database is contained database. Another important point means what? Directly we can create a user with password. Okay, no need to enable anything. directly we can create a user with password here. For example, here like create username with the password equal to some passwords here. Then granting permissions, that is common. Okay, so like this, like we can create a user with password, so we can grant the permissions. Okay. Grantor does not have grant permission, it is saying. Sorry, I'm running in master database actually. Yes. Check here. Yes. So now remember he can connect to the database. He can start working with this database. Okay, very simple. But from which machine he is connecting, that machine IP should be added in the firewall. Okay, right. That's why by default, remember Azure SQL database is a content database by default, where we can create a user with password directly. Right. So SQL Server agent already we have seen there is no agent service here, does not have SQL Server agent. Some workarounds are there. Basically, agent is for automation. There is no agent service, but we have workaround is it by using that. Yeah, we can overcome this limitation. What are the workarounds are there? Here, create SQL Server, SQL agent job on an on-premises SQL server or Azure VM. Okay, so but connect to the Azure SQL database here. Right, in on-premises we can create a job actually which is connecting to Azure SQL database, so which can perform some maintenance activities. One option is it. Second option is it Azure automation service. Actually here we have automation service is it. By using this automation service also we can automate. Check here. Automation. Yeah, automation accounts are there. So by using this also, we can automate. Anything we can automate actually by using this automation service. Not only our SQL database related activities, any activity we can automate, right, of any service. In the same way, use PowerShell. Other options are there, elastic database jobs are there. By using this also we can schedule, we can configure automation. We'll see this one. Use PowerShell to automate the task and schedule the PowerShell script execution with Windows Scheduler on premises or VM, which is connected to this database. Okay, same option is similar to the second option. These are the different options are there for automation. We'll see this for automation. Right. CDC is here. Change data capture is not allowed here. Auditing is it basically like the auditing features such as C2 auditing, system health extended event, SQL database trace, default trace, and anything that writes alerts or issues into event logs are not available. But we have seen by default, yeah, ED is enabled here, transparent data encryption is enabled, and this auditing we can implement here manually. We can implement auditing means what we can capture the events actually into a separate storage account. Into one separate storage accounts here, we can implement manually auditing. Okay, so all the events we can capture. Okay, so only required events from required users also we can capture. We'll see this one. We can how we can implement. Right. Right. So next one, sir. Mirroring option is not there. Database mirroring, but our SQL database can act as a mirror. It cannot act as a principal. We can make this SQL database as a mirror database. Okay, on premises or Azure VM database is a principal database. This is our mirror. Table partitioning said all partitions should be created into only one file group, only primary file group. The partitioning is allowed, but single file group. All the partitions should be added to a single file group. Replication is not there here, but our SQL database can act as a subscriber, and it supports only push subscriptions. Means what? Agent is created in on-premises server. Both agents are created. Okay, so once again, remember it supports transactional replication only. Means on premises database we can make as publisher, okay, as well as distributor. This Azure SQL database we can make as a subscriber. Okay. Multi-part names. Multi-part names means what? Like database name dot schema name dot table name, right? Like generally we have seen 4 parts are there: server name dot database name dot schema name dot table name. Generally 4 parts. But actually remember, like 4-part names are not allowed here in Azure. Like generally 2-part names are allowed. Means like schema name dot table name using 2 parts here. Okay, so why? Because we can't access here across the databases. We can't run the query which fetch some data from one database, some data from another. Why? Because it is not server level service, right? It is DB level service. That's why only 2-part names are accepted here. Browser service is not there here. File stream, Azure SQL database does not support here file stream. Okay, CLR is there, sir. Previously it was supported, but now it is not supported for security reasons. CLR we know already to run the .NET programs. Resource governor is there generally to limit the resources like number of transactions per second, database size, IO. Generally we have resource governor is there, but here see we have different service tiers are there. By using different service tiers, right, we can yeah, control the use plus database size. That's why there is no resource governor here. Global temporary tables, these global temporary tables which are created with here double hash symbols, which are accessed across what all sessions, not supported in Azure SQL database. Local temporary tables are supported, he is saying. In general, say like we have one table is there, vendors table is there. If I say select star into hash vendors from vendors here, this is our local temporary table. Okay, so which can be accessed within the same session only. Okay, so whereas like if I try to create here global temporary table, yeah, so check here. Okay, working fine. And same query we can run in by using another session also. There also it works. But local temporary table we can't access from another session. Here it throws error. Like this here both are supported. Global and local temporary tables are supported. Right. So next here, like log shipping is it? Log shipping is not supported. Okay, so SQL trace flags are not there here. Profiler is not there, but by using some DMVs as well as we have one more option we have seen query performance insights. We can capture here top queries. We can capture here top queries depends on CPU wise usage data log IO top running queries we can capture here. Trace flags are not supported here in Azure SQL database. System stored procedure means like only system procedures related to database service are supported. Use statement is not supported. Generally, we have to switch between the databases. We are using what use statement. Okay, right now I am in sales database. If want to go with use master, if I try to enter into master, it is not supported here. Why? Because it is DB level service only, right? That's why it is not supported. It is saying very clearly. Next here, like we can create the SQL database by using Azure CLI also, command line interface. Just remember whatever the activities we are doing through portal graphically, all these activities remember we can do by using the cloud shell here. So where we can write the script with CLI, Azure CLI means command line interface. Okay, so by using CLI also we can provision the databases. We can work with the databases here. As well as remember from by using PowerShell also we can work with these databases. Means what? No need to connect to portal compulsory. We can open here PowerShell. Yeah, Windows PowerShell ISC. From here itself, remember we can connect to the account first. Okay, so with the login credentials. After that, here we can start working with. Okay, directly. No need to connect compulsory. Okay, through portal. In the same way, we can install like CLI, Azure CLI. We can install in our local machine also. We can work with here directly. Okay, once we install Azure CLI by using AZ, we can check here like about Azure CLI whether it is installed or not. Means what? With PowerShell we can work with, as well as with Azure CLI also we can work with. Azure CLI is better. Why? Because it works in any Windows, means any OS, any platform. Okay, so by using CLIs here, we can connect to the portal by using what? Account information. We can see everything we can do here. We can create the databases. Okay, we can create the servers. Everything we can perform here by using this Azure CLI. That's why after installing, I will show you installation. After installing, we can work from command prompt from local machine, or here see in the portal also we can work with what? CLI. We can go to Bash, for example, we can work with CLI directly from the portal itself. Right. We'll conclude the session here. We'll continue again in the next session. We'll see how we can work with the CLI, how we can create the databases, same database, how we can create with CLI as well as with the PowerShell. Okay, then we'll go to other options one by one. Yes.